Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Guild Wars, week 66, day 6. Oh, that's funny, 666. I just realized that. But, yeah, we're getting pretty far. We're technically like 2/3 the way to 100 then. Though that's still gonna be a while since it's only once every month now. So it's gonna be like years before we hit 100. But it used to move really quickly because it used to be every single week. But anyways, yeah, we have a bunch of spoilers to go over. Unfortunately, one of the thing, or as far as all the event week stuff, unfortunately, we have no actual image spoiler for next patch. They said they were going to go and do one on Saturday, then there was none on Saturday, and then we thought maybe they would do it today, and there was none today. So I'm not sure. They're doing a reveal of the entire patch next Monday, not tomorrow Monday, but next week's Monday. So in 8 days from now, they're going to be doing a stream going over next patch. And at that point, I'll be able to share a lot of info. But I'm surprised they didn't end up doing a spoiler image this week. I guess next Saturday they will, but at that point, we're only 2 days away from seeing all of it. So it won't be as exciting then, but we'll still get to see some things like a few days early. But yeah, it's a lot of fun next patch. I believe they're done beta testing. I actually didn't double check the last few days. Not sure if they sent it out. Probably. If they're showing it on next Monday, not tomorrow, but the other Monday, then they probably are pretty soon. It seems like a mid-October, late October patch. Of course, no official date has been given yet. But for all we know, it could literally be like 2 weeks from now. But anyways, let's go over all the event stuff for right now, since we don't have that to show. Where to go? Also, before I do that, hello everyone! Hello William! Hello Clarence! Hello Tom! Hello Corn! Hello Original! Hello Isabel! Hello Jan! Hello DeCrail! Hello Pliskin! Hello Christy! Hello Dorade! And hello everyone else! Welcome, welcome. So, first order of business. Let's go over all the event stuff. Why did it keep showing a black screen with this? Let me go find the right window. Where on earth is it? Why is it named weirdly? Weird. Why on earth is there so many things here? Like half of this stuff isn't even open. I'm gonna look into that later. Why is it showing so many things here? There's the right one. That should be the right one. Could be because it's showing it for each individual tab, maybe? Because there's multiple tabs here that we're showing. But anyways, here is one of the new things we're getting tomorrow. This is the invasion troop that's going to be coming in. It's going to be dealing damage to an enemy. If they are a tower, does the standard 3 to 5 times damage based on its ascension. And it has a unique ability, not really that unique, but it eliminates 28 from 2 random skills. For any of you that don't know, eliminate was a term that was added, I believe, the most recent patch. Though it isn't any different from stat reduction. It's similar to how we have split damage and scatter damage. Both are called 2 completely different things. However, they both interact the exact same. And that's basically what this is. Eliminate basically just means stat reduction. It's just a word that means stat reduction that they added now. Why on earth they added this for just to reduce the word by 1, I don't know. It's the same reason why they did scatter for split damage, to make it 1 word instead of 2. Why they keep doing this, I honestly do not know, but they did it for stat reduction. It's now called eliminate, supposedly. So it's the exact same as stat reduction, so basically that reads as he reduced his 2 stats, or 2 random stats from an enemy by 28, is basically what he does, and that would be increased by his magic, of course. But yeah, that's basically what that means when it says eliminate, just stat reduction. And he has Arcane, so he gets even more damage. It's going to be particularly good because every single Arcane he triggers is potentially 5 additional damage on the enemy, and then an additional 2 stat reduction, meaning he could do about 7 extra benefit per magic that he gains. So, yeah, that Arcane is going to do a lot of work. And, of course, this is Invasion, so you could just put him up front and just tank through everything. His first trait's not really going to do much. Too bad that wasn't some kind of skill reduction or spell reduction. But, yeah, it should be a relatively easy Invasion. He's relatively strong, at least in the Invasion context anyways. Next up, we have ourselves the Glory Troop that will be available that you'll be able to obtain through Glory. It curses an enemy and then eliminates 22 from 2 random skills, which means stat reduction from 2 random skills of 22. Nothing too special, though its mana cost is pretty cheap, so that's kind of nice. However, compared to a 14 mana cost Azura of blue-purple, with all of its mana accumulation and the fact that it hits all 4 instead of just 2, you're probably just going to be using Azura. Azura is still the best stat-reducing troop, or the best eliminate troop in the game. And I don't really foresee that really changing, and this is not going to be changing it. So it's pretty much just going to be a dead content troop. A little bit weird that it counts as a human, though. Human Mystic. Seems like it's an undead something, but apparently it's Human Mystic. One other thing to note about this event with these 2 troops coming out is Karkaroff will be able to be 10-starred, and this is pretty relevant, or whenever Kingdom can be 10-starred, but particularly Karkaroff, mainly because Karkaroff has +1 magic. Karkaroff is a +1 magic kingdom, so that means you will be able to get 1 whole additional magic from upgrading Karkaroff to 10+ stars. Did Karkaroff ever get a 2nd mythic? Yes, it got that one really weird Devour one. So yes, it does have the 2nd mythic required as well. So you don't have to own Zugoff in order to get it. You can simply just go and have what's that name called? Vashtagon, I believe his name is. He's such a dead content troop, I keep forgetting it, and it's such a weird name. But like Vashtagon, whatever that one mythic from the other from the kingdom is of Karkaroff that isn't Zugoff. Yeah, as long as you have that, you can get 10 stars, and assuming you have all the other upgrades for it. And yeah, with 2 extra troops, that'll be a lot easier to end up getting as well. Also, we're getting a weapon. It deals damage to an enemy boosted by Mystic Allies, then creates a mix of yellow and purple. This will be pretty dead content currently, but like most of these, they could potentially be really good into the future. As they currently stand, they're likely not going to be that relevant at all. Other than that, we have plenty of other things happening this week. Most noteworthy, this Friday, we get 2 things. We're getting a new mythic, and we're getting a new faction. So let me zoom in a little bit so it's a bit easier to see here. And go over the mythic and then the 4 faction troops. So, mythic. Actually, yeah, we'll go over a mythic and then the faction. So the mythic. This is coming out next Friday, October 4th. It's going to be a Golvania mythic. It is a... where's its typing? It is just an undead, not a double typing. It destroys all gems of a chosen color. All enemies of that color take magic +9 true damage. And they have their mana drained, silenced, and frozen. This is going to be extremely good against teams that use 3 or 4 of the same color. However, it's pretty much not going to be used in any other context, unfortunately. But really strong against teams that are very similar color-oriented, since you'll be able to completely disable out all of that color and do a pretty substantial amount of true damage to them. The only really big downside to this is the most viable location for it will likely be Guild War Defend, and knowing the AI, it'll probably be horrifically bad at actually using it. But if the AI does use this troop correctly, it could be one of the most devastating defend troops for Guild Wars, since it's just a pure counter for any day you want. So that will be really, really annoying in the context of Guild Wars if the AI uses it correctly. But other than that, I don't really foresee it being used much unless you happen to be doing something where you might be fighting a lot of 3 or 4. It's something, offensively, it's something that you would use very situationally. But defensively, it's like exclusively Guild War Defend. But yeah, offensively, you would never like build a team that you use against everything with this. You would only bring it out specifically if the enemy has 3 or 4 of a color. And yeah, great counter troop if nothing else. And other than that, it does all undead allies gain 2 armor and magic whenever matching 4 or 5 gems. So it's very similar to that one Titan ability of Hyndla that ends up giving 2 life and 2 magic to all giants. This is the same thing but for undead. Unfortunately, undead is one of the worst types in the game, and that hasn't really changed with this mythic being added. This mythic is probably one of the better undeads in the game. However, the classification of undead is very, very lackluster, so that's not really going to be used much as like the Titan version. Especially since 2 factions from now we're actually getting a Titan faction. Or actually 3 factions if you count the one we're getting this Friday. Yeah. So this faction. This new faction that's coming out tomorrow. Or Friday, sorry, not tomorrow. Next Friday is going to be associated to Divinian Fields. It's Divinian Fields, Glacial Peaks, and Stormheim if you're looking to save your trait stones. Or your deeds, I mean. This ends up using yellow deeds. This ends up using blue deeds. And this ends up using blue deeds. So I'd probably skip over Glacial Peaks and go for the Stormheim, because if we had to compare which one is better from which one you should use blue deeds on, it is 100% Stormheim, because you actually get some really, really good team bonus out of it, whereas Glacial Peaks, not so much. So yeah, definitely start possibly saving your blue deeds for that. I might even stop throwing into Merlantis and go all in on Stormheim, because that seems very, very useful. To go and get that up. But hopefully we'll actually get some deeds off of an adventure board. It feels like we've been getting like 0 deeds off of an adventure board. If I'm not mistaken, again today we have like complete junk on it. Been pretty unlucky adventure board this last week or so. But anyways, but yeah, it's going to be Divinian Fields. What are the relevant? It's going to be a green-red faction, which I believe is a coloration we already have, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the most relevant info here. Next thing. Also, we don't have a proper dove layout thingy for it. I don't think she ever showed it on the Monday stream. She probably will tomorrow, though. But other than that, the actual troops that are coming. We have ourselves the Puka. This ends up being a ultra rare. It's a Fey. This kingdom is, or this underworld is extremely Fey oriented. It drains up to 12 mana to an enemy, and then creates red gems equal to the mana drain. This is similar to Nyx and all the other similar troops to that, where it just has a drain at a cap, and then ends up draining their mana and getting a bunch of gem spawn based on the mana drained. So it's just the same premise as all those other troops. Other than that, it has Revenge. If I'm not mistaken, every single thing from this kingdom has Revenge, except for the Legend. But basically what Revenge does is it ends up giving the Hunter's Mark whenever it takes damage. So I believe this is just to the thing that hit you. I'm not sure if it's random or to the thing that hits you. Based on the wording, it seems like whatever hits you. But yeah, Hunter's Marks when I take skull damage. So it either does that always to first slot, to whatever did damage to you, or to a random enemy. Which one of the three it is, we actually do not know. Also has Jinx. Jinx isn't really good unless you stack like 2 or 3 Jinxes together. They do stack. But due to how masteries are set up in this game, if you only have one, particularly in late game, they're not really going to do anything. You need like 2 or 3 Jinxes before they become viable. It's one of the unfortunate things that they did with Famine. They actually removed his Jinx because a lot of people are running double Famine because of how strong it was. But yeah, now that he doesn't have Jinx, there's like no teams, viable teams in the game that run multiple Jinxes. Just because most Jinx troops, for whatever reason, are pretty bad for the most part. And that one isn't much of a difference as far as not being particularly good. It's average. Not anything too special, though. Like, Nyx and stuff have fallen off ever since they did the mana drain nerf. They also made all their mana costs increase to 14. Because before, I think they were as low as like 12 or 13 or something. I think 13. Anyways, next up, the rare from this kingdom. This is... Oh, wait. Oops. I just pointed at the mythic when I was showing the thing there. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was still right. Never mind. Keep looking at the mythic. Never mind. All 4 of the things from this kingdom do have Revenge. I was accidentally looking at the mythic, thinking that it was the legendary. I'm not sure why, but it was one below. But never mind. Every single thing in this kingdom has Revenge with the Hunter's Mark thing. Anyways, next one. Deal magic +4 true damage to an enemy. If the enemy is Hunter's Marked, it Fairy Fires all enemies. So this is going to be probably one of the most viable Fairy Fire options that isn't high rarity. This is rare, which means it's the lowest rarity thing from this kingdom, or from this faction, which is going to be ridiculously easy to obtain. You could probably obtain it with 100 Chaos Shards, probably even less. But this is going to be the most viable, cheap Fairy Fire in the game. All you have to do is simply let them get damaged or do Hunter's Mark through something like Archer or any other hero class that has a Hunter's Mark every single extra turn. Then simply poke them with this troop and boom, you just Fairy Fired the entire team for only 10 mana costs. This is even cheaper than Glitterclaw, however, it doesn't have any mana accumulation like Glitterclaw or extra turn chance like Glitterclaw. But as far as cheapness goes, that is definitely the cheapest viable Fairy Fire in the entire game. So that's something that might be pretty useful for early game players. Not to mention he only has a 5 mana cost for his very first cast, meaning, yeah, that's super ultra cheap. Only 5 mana to get a 4 times Fairy Fire. Queen of Tanya is still going to be better, obviously, than it in pretty much every single situation. However, it's the same coloration as Queen of Tanya. So as an early game alternative to Queen of Tanya in some instances, if you're specifically using her just for Fairy Fire, it's almost a 1-to-1 equivalent as far as Fairy Fire capabilities. So, yeah, definitely great Fairy Fire option, even though it's only a rare. Next up, let me skip the Mythic. I'm not sure why they're not all next to each other. It's really weird. But anyways, the Legend from the Kingdom deals half to full magic +4 damage to all enemies, boosted by Hunter's marked enemies. This is kind of interesting in that I believe this is the first full AoE where every single AoE hit will be a different value. It's kind of like split damage, in that split damage is kind of already random as far as what it will hit to each one, but this is the first one that's actual AoE that I believe is doing it, so that's kind of interesting. It's boosted by Hunter's Mark at a 5x boost ratio, meaning it will do 20 additional damage based on those Hunter's Mark, and that does increase both the top value and the bottom value. So that'd be a minimum of a 20 increase regardless of which one ends up hitting. And that's pretty good. 20 plus AoE into something that's already probably hitting around 20 average. So that's definitely not a small AoE hit. And if the enemy dies, it also bleeds all allies, or blesses all allies, my bad. The bleeds all allies could theoretically be a positive status effect, depending on what kind of traits you had. But no, it blesses all allies, meaning that it will easily gain an immune whenever it ends up clipping out a kill. So you could end up targeting one sum and then throw a large AoE at it, and then end up getting your entire team blessed, so not too bad. It also Hunter's Marks a random enemy when matching red gems, which is pretty good in the fact of all the other Hunter's Mark synergy that it will have. A lot of Hunter's Mark from this kingdom, to say the least. And lastly, we have the Epic, which does explode a gem, gain magic +1 life and attack, boosted by green gems destroyed at a 3x boost ratio. This seems like it'll be your tank when you're running Pure Faction. Not only does it have 33% score reduction, it will also stack with the 25% score reduction multiplicitly, and it will also have the HP gain and barrier. So it has a lot of things that will be able to synergize together to make it a very viable tank. Pure Faction is most likely going to be this thing, the Legend, and probably just 3 to Legend, actually. I don't think you would use Fairy Fire. I guess you might use one of them just to have it. I think you would ditch the mana accumulation, most likely. It depends how badly you would need mana drain. But it seems like you're going to either run one of each, or you're going to run the Wild Knight, the Legend, the Bloodletting, and then another one of the Legends. But one or the other is probably going to go down. But yeah, seems like a pretty fun faction. Nothing seems too overly meta, but definitely some really fun stuff. And it fills quite a bit of mid-game holes, early game and mid-game holes. Like a lot of this stuff, even this could be a good frontline tank for early game when you lack other options and if you don't want to use your hero for it. But yeah, honestly, I feel like this is going to be the most useful troop. Not that end game people will use it, but in the fact that newer players will finally have a Fairy Fire option that is super easy to obtain. The only problem is a lot of people don't know like what some of the better picks are off of factions, and getting that many shards in early game can be a little bit annoying. So a little bit annoying. Like if you had to go get all like the 4 unique troops from every single faction, that takes quite a while as a newer player. But still decent nonetheless. Also, they really do need to make it easier to tell what you get from the portals. There's actually no way to see in game easily what the 4 is for each faction. Like you can easily tell if you're like later in the game and kind of just know. But newer players, I'm pretty sure, don't really have a good way of understanding. And trying to do a video over it wouldn't really make it easier to understand. The easiest way for them to fix that would be to add, like, on the screen what on earth the 4 are. Because nowhere's on the screen does it really mention. I guess actually it shows these 2 here. But it doesn't say what all 4 of them are, just the 2. Why couldn't they just do 4 here? Like, that would have been perfect. Just have 4 icons here, 1 for each of the 4 cards. You did it for 2. Why can't you just add another 2? I should have mentioned that during the beta. I never really paid much attention to that, but that'd be so useful for newer players. Why on earth does it not show 4? I understand that for normal keys, why it doesn't show 4, but there's literally only 4 drops. Why not show all 4? You're already showing 2. I just realized that now. That is really weird game design. There's so much room there that you could show all 4 for. You could even like stack them like they are and still show all 4, or just have them individually, which would be a little bit neater. Never realized that, but yeah, why don't they show 4? Anyways, let's go do Guild Wars already. And that's all the stuff that's happening next week. Mostly all next Friday. Next Monday and next Friday are like the 2 biggest days for content next week. Like they normally are. It tends to be how content rolls out in this game. Is the 2 biggest days are always Monday and Friday. Monday because of new event week, and Friday because of whatever other new content they add. Also, Tuesdays can somewhat be big because Tuesdays are sometimes, or generally when they do patches, like when patches actually come out. Normally not specifically on a Monday, so sometimes they are. But anyways, let's go do Guild Wars already. Obviously, we're making dead last in this Guild Wars. We're just doing it for fun. But let's go and mess around with it. Blue Guild War. Guild War Blue. Still using Tidecaller for it. And yeah, I think we'll just go exactly as is. I don't think we need to change anything else. Let's go for the Rush Azura. One of the reasons we're actually specifically using Tidecaller is because of its +1 purple. One of the reasons we can't really use Corsair in the context, at least of this team. Because I need that +1 purple in order to get our mana up for Azura. And as I mentioned, Azura is basically a better version of the troop that's coming out tomorrow. So that's pretty nice. Azura has always been like the best stat reduction. Ever since it came into the game, it has been the best stat reduction troop in the game. Ever since it was added. Also, I didn't read any chat during that. Hello, everyone who said hello during then. Hello, Metalaris. You might fight me today, or you today. What does your name go by in game? Let's see. Hello, William. Oh yeah, I should go show what my win rates are for my defense. Hello, Rage. Happy Sunday. How many are in my guild right now? 22. If anyone's still interested, if you can do 1,000,000 gold plus per week, we're still at 22 people. Still trying to get the last 8. So do let me know. Yeah, the requirement's pretty high, unfortunately. But we're trying to rebuild to like back where we were, which is why we're still keeping it relatively high. And so far, it seems like most people have been making it. Actually, I should probably go double check. I believe most people, if not everyone, made it this week for the requirements. Some people are a little bit lower in Guild Wars. However, it's kind of fine because some people are a bit under-leveled. And once they get like a few event weeks with a bunch of legendary tasks, that will hopefully even out. After next Guild Wars, which is still a little bit low, that's slightly concerning. But at this exact moment in time, it doesn't matter as much. Also, I just accidentally moved the thing. Let me go fix that. I hate that so much. They used to have the borders bound, but then they undid it in a patch for whatever reason because it wasn't working properly, and then they never fixed it. It's really weird. But you can like drag the borders and make the screen become smaller, which normally wouldn't be too big a deal if you're not streaming. But if you're streaming, it changes the way that the window is captured, so it ends up making the aspect ratio of the game a little bit weird because it changes it to something that isn't 16:9. It makes it have black bars, or it makes it look shrink down, either or. But we'll go and get that there, get a nice Azura, and should pretty much be good to go. Should probably take that green before he did though. Yeah, this team, not the greatest team in the world, but it gets the job done for Blue Guild War. There's a lot of disable going for it. Oh, gotta be careful with that. Hopefully that doesn't backfire. Good. Yeah, he doesn't get alignment. Barely. Oh no, that drains all yellows. Or no, it doesn't. It drains all purples. I was wondering, like, wait, why do we lose 2 mana? But it's because of the drain purple thing that he has. Okay, one more poke will kill it. As long as it doesn't kill us here. Shouldn't. Good. And that skull should be enough damage. And it is. So let's grab that. Doesn't even be able to get a Megavore there. Megavore is mostly used for its 8% chance to kill, I feel like, in the context of this team. Very rarely can we actually get it up before the Undyne. And putting it in front of the Undyne would just be mana block, which is one of the reasons why I don't do it. Because we only need to cast it once, not multiple times, whereas Undyne we have to cast multiple times. Why it's in that order. Okay, he's about to deny yellow. However, that will have almost no impact on this board, so that's perfectly fine if he goes and do that. I think we're going to go and move his hero to first slot just so we don't have to do... Oh, I can't! Yeah, about that. Forgot. Stealthy. Let's see. Got another rope dart. I guess we kill it immediately. 8% instant kill would be great. Actually, you know what? Let me go move, you. Oh, yep. You also have stealthy. Double fail! That awkward moment when you forget everything that has stealthy. Let's see. Well, now they don't have stealthy. Because they both have stealthy. Let's do that. Luckily, it's magic reduction, so I didn't accidentally hit HP to make it summon. Now we can go Megavore, and then we can go and throw down... Actually, is Megavore a kill? Oh, it is. Nice. I keep forgetting how much extra damage he has from Guild Wars. Because he gets... one interesting thing about Megavore, he does get twice the effect on his... what's it called? On his magic. So if he gains, let's say, 10 magic, he's actually gaining 20 additional damage. And that's somewhat relevant because in Guild Wars you do gain some extra magic from having your statues upgraded. And with that magic, he's quite a bit stronger than what he would normally be. Okay, we can win right now. We just throw that down, take the skull, and he's dead. And there we go. Okay, that was decently smooth. Even though I failed twice, forgetting that they both have stealthy. Not just once, but for both of them. Another Life and Death team. Actually, it's literally the exact same team unless they change banner. Oh, so hello, Steve. Hello, Chad. Also, hello, Legolas. Hello, Matt. Let's see. Hello, Wow. It has been a long time since you were a bit to follow you live. Hello, Fleppy. It has been a while. We're glad you could join us again. Welcome. I know a lot of people can't necessarily catch us a lot live, especially since it's somewhat weird times for some time zones, the times I stream, particularly the nightly streams for anyone in the Europe-ish area, because it's like the middle of the night whenever I stream my normal nightly stream. Let's see, what do I grab here? Take a... I don't have double red, do I? I guess we'll try for Purple Surge. Didn't get it, unfortunately. Ooh, that's not what we want to see. Well, there goes Undyne. Guess we have to cheese it with Megavore. It's possible. Let's see, how do we go about this? Move you up so we don't have to deal with your summon. Oh, I should have taken that purple first. Grab that, because we could have had her full mana already without wasting a turn. She better not die to that death mark. We will probably lose if she does. Okay. Well, that determines this battle. Well, Megavore has to solo his entire team, basically, at this point. That's technically possible. So also, we still have Rope Dart. It's not over. Rope Dart can solo entire teams if it feels like it. It might take a while, but it can. What order do I do this in? I'm actually going to do this. And then Rope Dart him. Actually, I kind of want to kill Weaver first. Oh, wait. Hold up. He's running that hero class, but he's not running Stealthy. That's strange. He's running Orb Weaver without Stealthy. That means we can Megavore him. I didn't realize that. He's running without Stealthy. Oh, he's level 25. He's using a level 25 Orb Weaver. Well, that would explain it, because I believe Stealthy doesn't come out until 40. Oh, that's really under-leveled for this late in the game. Level 1,229. I guess he only uses it for Guild Wars, and nothing else, which makes sense. But we're about to lose to it, despite it being extremely under-leveled. Mainly because he got that really lucky Death Mark kill. So, as I said right there when she died, if she died to Death Mark, we were going to lose. And we're going to lose. Let's see. It's very unlikely we can come back from this. We don't have, like, any heal or anything on it. Yep, and of course it gets another Death Mark kill. What a way to go down. I know, life and death is really annoying. Up, round 2. Let's try this again. Okay, let's not die to a random Death Mark and we'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, the hero doesn't have Stealthy. I didn't realize that because it's actually only level 40. Or under level 40, I mean. So we could just Rope Dart it immediately. Which will make this battle a lot easier. As you can see by him already being dead. While you run Stealthy on it. It makes it a lot more annoying. Otherwise, you could just counter it with a targeted spell. Like we just did. Right, Rope Dart has no damage, but I still want to move the Summoner up front. So we'll take that up there. What do we want mana on? We'll probably take that for now, get a free turn. What else we need? Megaforce enough to kill, right? Actually, are you enough? No. Not while you're in, not while you're webbed, you're not. Okay. Well, let's let him web us again. Not that big a deal. Have a Megavore. Might as well go for the kill. And then also tears its armor. And if he could do that, then we just won. No, we wouldn't. Yes, we did. 48. Yeah, that's enough to kill. Really massive boost ratio. And there we go. That works. And one more battle, I believe. Unfortunately, we did get that one loss in there to really bad luck. And again, same premise. This one with Lamistu this time. What's her side effect again? Oh yeah, it hits the weakest enemy. Not going to be too big annoying for the most part. Also, hello, Key Lime. Welcome. Also, hello, MMA highlights. Let's see. Also, I missed some chats. Hello, Kevin. You got kicked for forgetting to do 1,500 seals for a guild. Ouch. Hello, Motown. Oh, thank you, Key Lime. Let's see. Can I do a video on level 500 Delve teams for both Pure Faction and Faction, please? Yes, I've been meaning to cover so many Faction stuff. I need to go pre-record it soon, or just cover it next week, because I will be gone for most of October, like the mid of October, like from the 13th to about the 26th or 27th or so. I'll likely be gone, somewhere around there, and I'll have a bunch of pre-recorded stuff, and it will be guide-related things, and some of those stuff will definitely be Faction. Though it's also going to mostly be going over next patch, because next patch is, well, right around the corner. Like, really, really soon. Oh, what do I waste this on right now? I'm not sure if I killed a summoner. You know what? I should just kill that one. Could have gotten all the damage in. Now, we're just going to have to do it on first slot and then kill it off of the explosion. No, I can't kill it off explosion now. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Let's see. What does Megavore gain stats faster like that? You've noticed it, but you don't know why. Because it has twice the value of magic. A lot of troops have different values for how effective they are at magic. There's 3 normal ones normally. There are troops that have half effectiveness off of magic, full effectiveness off of magic, which is what a good majority of them are, and double effectiveness off of magic. I forget what the full list of double effect is, but there's a few of them, and one of them is Megavore. There's very, very few. Most of them are full effectiveness. There's a decent amount of half effectiveness, but this amount that are double effective is very, very small. But Megavore is one of the ones that have double effect on its magic. It has a base value of what was it? It's 7 plus magic times 2 is the amount of bonus he has. Right now he has 34, which makes it go to 68, and then he has a base value of 7. But yeah, the base value of magic that every troop has is technically invisible, and whatever their multiplier is also invisible. You can kind of tell just by looking at the number, though, and breaking it down. But every single troop, for the most part, has a invisible number increase, which is their base value of magic, even when they have 0 magic. And then their multiplier for their magic value, and then just a magic value. So every single thing that uses magic generally has those 3 values. And he has a base of 7, a times 2 for its effectiveness, and then it just times 2 just gets applied to its magic value. And we can kind of see the same thing with Azura. Azura has a half effectiveness, as I was just mentioning, instead of a full effectiveness, basically meaning that her magic is halved, so it halves it down to 15, and she has a base value of 1, and it rounds down. So that 31 becomes 15, and then it adds 1, which brings it to 16. So she has a half effectiveness, and most things in the game have a full effectiveness. Though I can't really show it on Rope Dart, but as you can see, Rope Dart has a base value of 3. Actually, this team setup right now is like a perfect example of how to show all 4 of these, because actually all 4 examples I just mentioned are here. The base value is here. That's actually really funny. That's funny that you asked that question. But yeah, all 4 of the aspects are here. This is such a perfect team for explaining that. But yeah, let me explain it again then. So every single thing has a base value. Whenever their magic is reduced to 0, almost everything in the game has some amount of magic base value. And in this case, it's 3, as you can see for this. Here we have a half value magic. So this does its magic. That gets halved, which brings it down to 15 because it gets rounded down. And has the base value of 1. As I mentioned, everything has a base value generally that uses magic. This one is just how most troops are. They just have a simple added value that gets added onto whatever their magic is. So this has a base value of 5, and then it just does whatever their magic is. This is how like 90% of troops are for the most part. They just have their magic exactly set up to what their magic is, or their bonus to set up to whatever their magic is. And then they just get some kind of small extra plus onto it for when they have 0 magic. And other than that, there's ones that have double, which this is just doubles with 34 and has a base value of 7. And that's how that works. But yeah, that's kind of funny because we actually have all 4 examples of how magic works on this. Let's see. What do we go for here? What do we go for? We can go for that right there. Wait, do you have stealthy? Probably. Actually, he's exactly 40. That's funny. He got exactly level 40 to get stealthy. That is quite perfect. Oh no, the stream went down. Come back. Okay, we're back. We're back. Yeah, that's kind of funny. He has literally exactly 40 just to get the stealthy. Definitely advised, that's for sure. Let's see. Oh, you have a question regarding kingdom level to level 10 upgrades. When are the requirements for the magic kingdoms from level 9 to 10? You notice Darkstone requires the mythic, but what about the others? They all require mythic. Every single, whatever your requirement says for Darkstone is what your requirement is for every single kingdom. Every single kingdom has the same requirement for star levels. Not a single one is different. So whatever the requirement is for your Darkstone is the same requirement that you have for literally every delve in the entire, for literally every kingdom in the game. They're all the same, it's just you have to specifically do it for that kingdom, is the only difference. Also, does Undyne hit below even if they're separated? I actually forget, let me see. I believe the answer is yes. I'm trying to see the wording on it. Yeah, it says the next enemy below. Whenever it says the next enemy below, it'll hit the one below or the one adjacent, even if it is separated. The only time it doesn't do it is when it says adjacent. If it says adjacent enemy below or adjacent enemy in general, it will not do it if there's a gap in between. But if it says next enemy, it will. So that's a difference in wording on abilities that actually does mean something. So this should, based on that wording, allow us to, well, apparently hit that because it just got a summon. That's unfortunate. I was almost going to be able to kill him right there. Actually, change of plan. I'm going to Megavore that. Oh, no, I can't. I forgot. Now we have to deal with Stealthy. Stealthy, I hate you so. Gosh. Anyways, we'll throw that down. So this should hit that, because it hits the next enemy in line. Yeah, it does. Okay. Now we just have to deal with the annoying life and death with Stealthy. Let's see. He's gonna get a summon. He could actually still win this. This isn't over. Why? Oh, he just drained our mana too. Let me grab that for now. At least he's in first slot. If nothing else. So I can just skull spam him and he'll just get a bunch of spiders behind it. There we go. Well, he got triple spider. But at least we killed him out. Oh, I should have killed the spider that has a summon. Whoops, what am I doing? I was gonna get a summon in first slot. Unless I could stop him. No, I don't have enough damage to stop him. Whoops. Mistakes were made. Not too big a deal though. Still, it's not like we're gonna lose, but that will slow down the battle. Oh, I thought that was enough damage. Apparently not, but at least they're silenced. I forgot they were blue, so we are allowed to silence them. There we go. Undyne does silence all blue enemies. Well, that was a weird battle, but at least it came through. But there we go. Well, that could have gone better. But actually, it was pretty solid for the fact that we lost once. That would have been on track for 9,500 if we didn't get a loss there. Because we almost did 8,000 without anything. So that's not too bad. Or with the loss, I mean. But obviously, we make dead last because we only have 22 people. Whereas everyone else was running with probably 28 to 30 people. So obviously, we just automatically lose, which we kind of expected for this Guild War. However, after this, we should be back to normal. All these next upcoming events, we should be able to get done easily. And the next Guild Wars, we should definitely, in a month from now, have a full guild again. So, yeah, we should be back to normal in a month from now, so that'll be nice. Also, here's how our defend teams did. 216, 114, 017, 116. This surprisingly did 410. I believe it's because most people in bracket 2 would not expect this as a defend team, because it's not a traditionally ran defend team. And then a 213. Yeah, the two that are the most uncommon, actually every single one of the most uncommon ones end up doing the best, because these are the three most common, like really good defend teams. Just because this counters out Red Day very well. This is just a pretty standard counter for anything for the most part, and this is just the skull spam team. But these three are a little bit less common. The other three that I have set up. This one is a version of Life and Death, though it's pure true damage version, which generally people do not run. They normally run the elf version of it, as we saw by all those battles that we did. But very rarely do you actually see like a full true damage option of it. But that's what that is. We have a really weird King Gobtruffle team. I built this team solely around King Gobtruffle, and it seems to win. 410 this week, and it's done pretty decent in other weeks too. Its win rate has varied, but yeah, not too bad. And other than that, we have a really weird version of a counter blue team, which basically uses Undyne to try to counter Undyne. One pretty weird thing is that Undyne's one of the best counters to counter Undyne. So it really just comes down to whose Undyne goes first. And with the Essence of Evil and Murvrax plus Azura combo all mana generating, it generally will, even under AI control, as long as the AI isn't extremely bad. But as long as it does somewhat okay and gets like an Essence of Evil down, Essence of Evil control them a lot too and stuff like that. So it's working out decently. And then once you get to Silence, you just pretty much auto-win if you can get to that point before the enemy does. So that's how it got its 2 wins. But yeah, that's what our defense teams were. Oddly enough, this was our best one. Forest Troll, King Gobtruffle, Mirage Queen, and Elemental Bow with Frost Mage on Purple Day. And it's not even a bad guild too. I believe they're in like 2nd place. Oh no, they're in 4th place. They dropped a little bit. But yeah, still end up doing good. Anyways, yeah, we'll just get our normal little reward of 125 gems. Luckily, the reward for all this area is the exact same, all the way from bracket 2 to 5. So us going down 2 brackets, if we do all the way down to 4, isn't really going to affect our loot. Because 3 and 4 and 5 all have the same loot anyways. So that will not affect it. Anyways, next order of business. Read through the rest of chat because I keep not doing it. Hello, Goober. Hello, Gustavo. Yeah, stream dropped for a second. It's back now, apparently. Also, let me go hand out a code. We're all the way at like 100 viewers already. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Let's see. Let's go do this code. I believe this is the next one. That also reminds me, I need to go ask Salty for more codes. Because we only have 3 codes left. Or, I'm sorry, scratch that. We have 2 codes left. Hey, is this one good? Hold up, 1 second. Never mind. We have 2 codes left. Even less than I thought. Salty, codes. Asked her last week preemptively because I had a feeling this would happen. So hopefully she gives it tomorrow or else we're going to be out of codes by Tuesday. Because I have the one right now, and then we have one for tomorrow night, and then we have one for Tuesday, and then I'm out of codes. But there you guys go. There's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com. Read the game code section. Same place as always. Your invite code's underneath settings menu. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Just copy paste random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. It only works on PC mobile version. There we go. Yeah, this week had basically no events. However, next week we have 2 events. We have a new mythic coming out on Friday, and we have a new faction coming out on Friday. Yeah, true. Good point. Yeah, this week was a really dull week. That's the only problem. Like 1 month or 1 week out of every single month is like really dull. But then we have like a super first week every single week where we get a new mythic and a new faction, which is this week. So this week we're going to have a lot of content because Monday brings in a lot and Friday's going to bring in a lot. We're getting like a really huge amount of things. We get 2 troops tomorrow and a weapon, plus a new event switchover and all the normal stuff. And then on Friday we get 4 new troops, a new weapon, a new faction, and a new mythic. So a lot of things going on next week. Also, we're getting the preview 1 week from today of or 1 week and 1 day from today of next patch. So on that following Tuesday, I'll be able to go over that quite a bit. So that's technically next event week, not this one. But anyways, next order of business. Let's go do dailies now that we got our Guild Wars done. So of course we have really bad adventure board today. I'm not sure why, but adventure board has been horrifically bad this last week. I don't think we've gotten a single good thing except for deeds on like 1 day, if I'm not mistaken. But aside from that, it has been horrifically bad. Hopefully we get some better adventure board soon. Pretty long dry streak, but if nothing else, at least it's great for leveling up hero classes. We're still doing that. Currently trying to get Oracle a little bit more leveled because we're getting 4 new Divinian Field troops next Friday. So do make sure your Oracle's leveled a little bit because I believe you'll need it to level 40 or 50 for a Kingdom level, or for Kingdom levels if you're all the way in late game. So if you haven't already done that for your Oracle, you might want to consider doing that now. Because I believe Divinian Fields reaches 12 or 13 stars, or somewhere around there, on Friday. And with that being said, yeah, you're going to need some amount of hero class upgrade. I don't think it's too high how far you need to go, but you still need it to some degree. Yeah, what is Divinian Fields at right now? I believe it's at 18 troops, so 22 I believe is, yeah, 22. 22 I believe is 12 star or 13 star. I completely forget off the top of my head which one. I think it's 13 star. If anyone knows for sure, let me know. I actually completely forget. But I'm pretty sure it requires some amount of Kingdom upgrade. I mean a hero class upgrade. I'm trying to find like a there we go, Bright Forest. How many troops does Bright Forest have? This might be able to tell us. Yeah, 22 means 13 stars. That is correct. Which means you're going to need to have a never mind, you don't need to have the hero class leveled at all. But you do need all 3 traits. You do need one of the pets from the thing maxed out though. I think I'll double check. I believe I do. Do we have a level 20 pet from Divinian Fields? If not, we'll get the Pure Faction one. So it's not too big a deal, but do we already have one? Because not everyone's going to be doing Pure Faction. No, we do not! Fabella! You need a copy. We need you by next Friday. That or we need to go do Pure Faction really quick. Because if I don't have this upgraded to Mythic by Friday, I won't have it until Sunday. Which is not that big a deal. It's just going to be a 3-day delay for a single star. And if it was like a 10-star one, that would matter. But it's only going to be from 12 to 13. Yeah, I need one more copy. Otherwise, I can't upgrade it. That's a fail. Or at least until I get the faction pet maxed. Which I need to make sure I save food for that. But anyways, that's that. Go do these. Yeah, hopefully we find a copy of it. That'll be kind of awkward if not. Otherwise, we'll have to wait a few days for the other star. Not that big a deal, but still. Yeah, you think they're testing out the flash offer by deliberately making deeds lower? You never know. It could be. They do have the capability of manipulating it if they want to. They can change it to whatever they want whenever if they really, really want to. However, from what they said, they are just going to be leaving it at complete randomness. Just letting it stay that way. However, they do have the capability of completely manipulating it to be whatever they want. They said they likely will not be doing that. And if they were, they would most likely say it. Or they said something along those lines. But, yeah, we technically have no way of knowing if they actually are adjusting it or not. But from what they've said, it doesn't seem like they are. Supposedly. But similar to Soulforge, they do technically have the ability to change it to whatever. However, they don't bother ever changing Soulforge. They've only ever done it once, and it was unfavorable of the players to give us Fair Shara for one of the Christmases back when Fair Shara was really, really viable, and everyone wanted him. Back when soul farming was actually relevant. Though to newer players, soul farming's still relevant. And next patch, it'll be good again. It'll be really good again, starting next patch, soul farming. There we go. Grab our little bit of gems. At least we got a gem task today. Not that many gems, an ultra rare one, but I believe an ultra rare gem task still gives like, what, 25 gems? Not too bad at all. I summoned Salty. Wait, is Salty here? I don't see her username. I know she uses quite a different one. I don't see her there, though. If she is, tell her I need more codes. She sent me my codes after you poked her? I didn't poke her right now, though. What, did she just send me more codes? Oh, she did just send me more codes. Oh, the almighty Salty has heard us! Aha! Okay, she did just give more codes. Maybe she is watching the stream, that's funny. She's stalking us. I don't see her username, though. I know she doesn't use Salty as her username, but I don't see her other one that she uses either. Because she's just spying on us. He hears us. We're being stalked. That's perfect coincidence right there. Also, I really wish they would add the grip thing again. I would stop doing this. It keeps changing back to like 2 pixels off. Because I keep accidentally dragging it whenever I click a bunch. There we go, back to normal. Normally in gameplay that would not matter at all, but streaming it keeps making black bars on the side. But anyways, let me go and... oh, you ended up poking her. Okay, that makes sense. That'd explain why. Anyways, let's go do the other little daily thing and then probably head to Underworld because, don't forget, this Tuesday, all day on Tuesday, we will be streaming Delves. Or not like all day, but you know, we're going to be doing level 500 Pure Faction for Delves, which means we have to do it all within one day, which means we're going to be doing a lot of Delves on Tuesday. We're finishing it all the way to completion. 500 Pure Faction Warrens. That will probably take around... I will be skipping through it some. So we're probably doing it up to 200 for all rooms and then skipping to the end. So it takes 4 rooms to get to the end, so it'll probably take around 4 hours, I want to say. Give or take a little bit. But we are going to be running to 500 Pure Faction Warrens tomorrow, or on Tuesday, I mean. Which is 2 days from now. We'll be doing that a good chunk of the day. They'll probably start around noon, and we'll just keep going until it's done. Or we might save some for the nightly stream, we'll see. Might split it up slightly. Did you notice the Gems of War events Google Doc spreadsheet is in the owner's trash? It won't be available soon? I did not realize that. Wait, which one are you referring to? Oh, the Google document? I don't normally check the Google document that often. I do know what you're referring to. I do have it bookmarked. Or I think I have it bookmarked. I know which page you're talking about. But I don't personally use that too often. That's a little bit weird if they're destroying it. Use that team for yellow and it's surprisingly effective. What is it? I can't tell by the code what it is. We ended up running Divinish Ball equivalent combo for it. It tends to work pretty well normally. Yellow Day was the day that I did have like the least amount of trouble with. Because there's just like 1.5 billion options. Probably the easiest Guild War day, I'd say personally. The hardest Guild War day is probably... What is the hardest Guild War day? It really just depends what people feel like running on a given day. On if it's actually harder or not. But there are a few that tend to be a bit weaker. I feel like red is still a little bit weaker. Red and brown are still towards the weaker side. Just because there's a lot of things that counter them without having a lot of really good team synergy. And of course, it is a Sunday, so it is always worth going for the 50 gems to get the 80 diamonds, 2 gem keys, the Celestial, and all the other stuff here. Even if you're a newer player, it is 100% always worth throwing 50 gems at this in order to get it. Brown and red are the hardest. Yeah, that's the 2 that I just mentioned. Red at one point used to be the absolute hardest. I'm not sure if brown is actually harder in the current state of the game or not. But they're definitely both pretty high up there. Also, did I ever do 1.9k for PvP? No, I did not. Let me go do that real quick. We'll just run... Do I run key team? Run the web spinner kill real quick. Where's my web spinner team? See if more teams down here. The possessed king. I still don't have the other possessed king team set up right now, do I? I think I do. But let me go do... I believe this is the team I'm looking for. No, it is not. I am looking for... do I not have it saved? There it is. This is the team I'm looking for. Oh, you skull spam like crazy. Red has Dawnbringer, but it doesn't really have a good mana generating option. And Dawnbringer blocks a lot of mana. Every single weapon type needs a good explosion mana accumulating weapon. Currently only brown, green, and blue have a good option. We still need one for yellow, red, and purple. Those three colors do not have an option for mana accumulation, and they desperately need one. Also, we got a horrible board. Oh, plus we're entangled. Oh, no. I should have double-checked for that. Well, let me preemptively do attack buff there, because I might kill the web spinner here. You dead? Nope, you're not dead. Not yet. Close, though. They're trying to. Wrong way. Oh, I'll take that for now. Get unentangled. You know you want to. Got a problem. Oh, he's not frozen at least, so we can do that. We could also grab that. We could also grab Latchy Web Spinner first. And now we can grab it if we want. What entangle? Let's see. We'll go for another poke with that. Unfortunately misses and gives him all his mana. Oh no, that better not die. It's going to. Ooh. And it's frozen now too. What a weird dilemma. I'm not gonna give us a skull. I might as well just poke it directly. Well, this team fell apart to entangle freeze. Take that for now since we're not frozen. That for free since we're not frozen on it. Take that again for same reason. Red we are frozen on, so that's bad. Give it attack buff and hope it goes over well. Nope, no cascade there. And we're probably dead unless we get really good alignment right now. Nope, we're dead. Might as well just retreat at this point or let Yagway do his thing. Yagway, go. There you go. Well, the struggle of entangle. A hard counter to this team. There's no room for anti-entangle on this team unless you got I guess you could get rid of Stargazer for it. But that's the only way we could kind of work around it. Is if we actually do give it a Stargazer. Gorgotha, Aquaticus, 10 Thunderbird, and Divinia. That sounds like it would work out pretty decently. How does it score, though? I guess with 3 Exploders, actually 4 Exploders technically with that. I guess it would work out pretty well. Pretty well. Why are these boards so bad for us? We'll take that for now. Well, let a Stargazer go down. He does not have enough attack to press it. And then we hopefully have alignment, which we do not. What's the backup plan for that? 2 really bad boards in a row. I'll take a purple there. Still not an option out of that. I guess we just go for attack buff on there just in case it dies. Which at this point seems semi-likely. Still not even an option to fake cast it, so we'll take that for now. In order to set up the board. Still not a good option. Still not a good option. Oh, good. We can actually Stargazer drop that, though. We'll take that, get our extra turn. And now we finally get options. There we go. Now destroy all the things. Okay, we'll go move that one over for now. Oh, I should have taken Sky Skull there. Luckily, he didn't get it. This we're probably just going to have to go for to press damage so we can set up for the following turn. Actually, let me grab that first. Never mind. We can just grab that into the extra turn right now. Grab that. Grab that. Take the purple over so we can grab that for free turn. Anything else we need? Is that enough? No. We'll grab that. Take this one, and he's nearly dead and dead. Getting really unlucky with this right now. Let's try this again. Against Mang and everything. It's almost like it's a pure Titan team. We're not pure Titan, pure Dwarf, I mean. No, it went with a Thief instead. Weird. It's like set up to be pure Dwarf, but they didn't for whatever reason. I'll throw it out on there. You do your little poke, and then you die. Move that over. Take our thing there. Grab another free skull, and he's dead. And that's what the team's supposed to do. we could just keep doing that, that'd be great. That is the main mechanic of this team, is win exactly like that. Over and over again, ideally. How do you get 1 million glory? You farm glory over time. It's a very slow process to get that much glory, to say the least. But the easiest way to do it is to grind gnome events. Gnome events happen once every month for 3 days. And they have a substantially higher glory rate than any other time during the game. And you can get around a couple thousand glory per hour during the event. And generally, you can just farm up absurd amount of glory during that time. That's where a good number of my glory is coming from. On normal weeks, it's normally coming from delves, where most of my other glories come from throughout the week. But PvP, delves, and gnome events are the 3 highest times, or the three highest locations where you can end up getting a really, really high amount of glory, with the gnome events by far being the best rate. However, it's only 3 days out of every month. Is the only downside to that. So delves you can do daily, and the PvP you can do whenever, especially when PvP has a +5 glory troop. Playing every day for 4 years. No, well, we had like 500,000 glory earlier and then got all the way back to 1 million in less than half a year. It didn't take that long to get back at all. Like, I'm pretty sure it was near half a year. Like, somewhere's around there. It wasn't that long. Because when did we throw all of our glory at Spoils of War? That was only a half a year ago, wasn't it? I forget when that patch was off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure that was earlier this year. And if it was, then it's been half a year since then. If you post a team with the new system alone, it needs unlocking. I'm not sure what you mean. I am not sure what you mean by that. Oh, also, we accidentally went into an entangle team. We need to try avoiding these, because this team almost auto loses to them. Especially a Yagway version of it. Yep, okay, retreat. Dodge that. Oh wait, what am I doing? I was looking at that thinking I still needed a bunch more points. Never mind, we're already at 3k. I thought we weren't at 1.9k yet. I was like, wait, why aren't we getting rewards? We were actually at it this entire time. Whoops. I'm not sure why I was looking at the other number. That's a slight fail. Anyways, this is to go do 1 war in stealth for now. And, yeah, we're almost at 500. However, that doesn't really matter since we'll be automatically at 500 by Monday. The only reason I was taking some of these 500s now, or working towards 500, is because of the 2 times multiplier. So that we get more loot for it per day when we do end up doing it. But that's the reason why I was working up on this. It has no effect on us this Tuesday, if we did or did not do that. However, we gain a bunch more loot up to that point if we did do it, which is why we did it. Because you get 2 times multiplier whenever you're working upwards in a delve. And it redoes that 2 times multiplier if you do it during a Tuesday event. So, for example... Did this stream just go down again? Stream, come back. I'm explaining something. There we go. But basically, what I'm trying to say with that is, when you're progressing through a delve outside of factions, you only get the 2 times multiplier whenever you're moving upwards. If you're just staying at the same level, you only get it 1 times, and if you're moving backwards, it's a 0.5. You basically never do. However, what you can end up doing is, even if you already have progress in your delve, let's say you've already maxed out a delve, on a Tuesday event, it will still give you 2 times multiplier as you progress forward. So if you want to optimize your amount of loot, you would technically go upgrade a kingdom to 500 prior to doing it to 500 pure faction, and then do it to 500 pure faction during an event. You can, of course, outside of an event without using potions or anything, do it too for some delves. However, some of them do need potions in order to do it viably, or just to do it in a quicker manner. But yeah, you can utilize the 2 times multiplier twice. Once by doing it just by going through the normal progression, without using the events, just using your daily delves, and then do it again from an event. And for both of them, you'd be able to get 2 times multiplier the entire time. Which would be more loot than you would normally get from a delve. Let's see. We'll go for that. Grab herself the convert over there. Hello, James. Sort of new player who you say Runeforger is bad, or should you keep your team is keep Boar, Alchemist, Runeforger, and Thunderforge? Generally, you wouldn't really need Runeforger on a team. Most of the troops that do a single buff aren't worth it. Like, if they have nothing that touches the board and all they do is a single buff, you normally want to try getting rid of them. One thing you might want to try putting into that team, since you're going around Alchemist, is go do the Kingdom of Pan's Veil and go unlock yourself Elwyn. Elwyn has a 7 times boost ratio per yellow that you destroy, which will end up hitting split amongst enemies. And this will be really decent for your level range, most likely. I'm not sure what level you are, but based on that team, I assume it's under 100 or 200. But if you go get Elwyn, it's going to have a 7 times boost ratio per yellow you destroy. And you're normally going to be able to hit, especially with Alchemist on your team, probably at least 5 yellows per cast, which will be 35 additional damage split amongst the enemies, which at your level range is probably a pretty substantial amount of damage. It's a really good early game option to have, because it not only has board control to try to get mana accumulation, but it also has the high boost ratio. Yeah, level 104, that should work out perfectly. Yeah, if you haven't done it already, go do Pan's Veil questline, and at the end of it you get Elwyn for free, which is the Kingdom Epic. One of the best free Kingdom Epics in the game, at least from an early game perspective. You'll never see me using it just because it's completely useless this late in the game, as you can tell by how the stats are. But earlier on in the game, it's a really viable option. Another one to possibly consider after that is getting Rowan or Azura. Azura is from Merlantis, and Rowan is from Forest of Thorns. Rowan is somewhat similar to Elwyn, except you need armor kingdom upgrades, so you need to get kingdoms that are armor related up to level 10. And the other one that is decently viable is Azura. Azura is just a great mana accumulation option. Works great with Mountain Crusher if you haven't already unlocked it. And if you haven't already unlocked it, you get it from putting your Hero Mastery into Brown whenever you gain a level. You'll probably have it pretty soon if you don't already have it. Because Mountain Crusher plus Azura is a really good early game mana accumulation option prior to having any good options. Even Apothecary is pretty cheap too, though. I'm not sure if you have Apothecary. Azura is at least a guaranteed drop, but Apothecary is really easy to get, however you might not have it as a newer player. Yeah, more often than not, you don't really throw buffs in this game, for the most part, at least in the current state of the game. Very rarely do you use troops that specifically just boost a stat on another troop. Unless they have some kind of other side effect that they do, like controlling the board in some way or, you know, anything else. They're generally not really used that often. Anything that just does a stat boost and end their turn tends to be pretty bad for the most part. Can't think of a single viable option, even from an early game perspective, that you would really bother using in that regard. Except maybe Emperina in early game, but that falls off pretty quick. At one point it was meta, in the current state of the game, not so much. Elwyn says damage to a random enemy? Does it? Did they end up changing his ability? I'm almost 100% it used to say scatter. I'll go double check. Regardless, it's still worth it. I almost am 100% sure his ability used to be scatter. Or split damage specifically. It goes by multiple different terms. Huh. Never mind, they did change it. Weird. Still worth it for the boost ratio, though. That's a lot of single target damage. I'm like 100% certain that used to be split damage. I guess, did they actually change that when they added the boost ratio and I never even noticed? Because they increased the boost ratio a while back from 3 to 7. They might have also changed it to single target at that point. It's still decent, though. That's a lot of extra damage. It's going to one-shot everything at that lower level range. Four troops from the same kingdom is viable. However, it has to be a decent kingdom. The most viable 4 troops from a kingdom in early game is probably... Oh, I'm trying to think of one. Because I'm trying to think of ones that have good 4 troops at lower level range. Probably Suncrest, oddly enough. Has one of the best team synergies. The only problem is it requires some of the faction troops. But it has really, really good low-level synergy once you get the shards to make the faction team. I think of another one that has really good low-level synergy. I guess Miss Scales kind of does. Right, at a low-level range, you can get a pretty good team for it. You do tend to build around those team bonuses a little bit more in early game. Though you shouldn't hinder the performance of your team just to be able to get those team bonuses. Because as long as you're using Hero and first slot as Titan, you already have the tank you need for your team. And the bonus stats that you get from a team bonus won't necessarily be needed. If you're not already doing it, it is highly advised to go and unlock Titan Hero class. It was available last Thursday if you did the class event for it. However, if you didn't do the class event to unlock Titan yet, go do Stormheim and go unlock Titan. Titan is the best hero class in the entire game. You'll see me using it almost always, unless I'm trying to level up a hero class. Because in almost every single situation, it's one of the best classes in the game. Mostly because there's Brown Storm into Barrier every Brown. Also having quite a few other utilities that are useful. But once you get it to level 40, it is very, very, very strong with its Barrier every Brown, which can basically infinitely tank a good majority of teams in the game. It doesn't make you invincible, but it's definitely really, really, really strong. And one nice thing about Barrier is it negates against 1 instance of damage regardless of how much damage they do. Even if they were to hit like hundreds against you, you'd still protect against that damage, assuming it was only 1 instance of damage. Hello, Andrus! Welcome! There we go. Okay, 3 more rooms. See, we got this one, and we have this one over here. We'll grab this one first because it's higher multiplier, take the other one, and then head right to the end. And if anyone has any questions or anything I missed, let me know. I'll make sure to go over it all. You're remembering Mountain Crusher plus Azura for a long time in early game, PvP? Yeah, it's really, really good. Mountain Crusher, Azura, 2 damage sources is the team. It's a really, really solid early game option for when you don't have options. Because Mountain Crusher you get for free, Azura you get for free. And then whatever 2 damages you have that you happen to have found, you just put into the team. Like the 2 best damage sources that you have laying around. And due to how it accumulates mana, they could be almost any 2 troops and it'll work. Ideally, you'd want to cover all 6 colors with it though, of course. But nearly any 2 damage sources that are somewhat half decent would work. You can run that all the way to like level 500. You can even run it in late game technically. So, depending on what you're running specifically, you might want to use different options. Like actual converting troops, like in this case. That's definitely a really solid option that you get for free. With a little bit of grinding. It's among one of the most consistent early game troops that you can build automatically. Without any RNG of drops. There's quite a few of them actually that are out there. Mang related teams are pretty high up there too. Mang Apothecary. There is some amount of RNG in getting Apothecary though, but it's relatively low since it's such a low rarity. It's random, but she's so common that it's not that random. Also, I need to transform him. I do not have the mana for it. I still don't have the mana for it. Any second now. There we go. And now hopefully we get transform. I hate his inconsistency. This is why I use Curse. This is why I always use Curse, but I can't use it for this stove because this stove does not have the coloration to allow us to do Curse. It's gotta be a little bit annoying this Tuesday when we have to do it a bunch. Because you get battles like this where you're just inconsistently trying to kill something that has Impervious. There we go. I just had to kill him with normal damage at that point. Still works. You can't choose your kingdoms anymore for getting troops? What do you mean by that? There's a lot of things you can do to choose the kingdom to get troops. They even added features for that in the most recent patch. And you can still target things down with event keys. But yeah, they added a new feature where it's actually really common to be able to get like some of the lower rarity troops. Because now when you upgrade the kingdom to level 10, you get a bunch of troops on the way automatically. Some of which are core troops like Apothecary and stuff. I still never did a video going over what all those are. Mainly because I almost feel like it's going to be more complicated than how much it's going to explain. Maybe I'll mention like the 10 most noteworthy ones. Doing it like that would be a little bit easier. Because if I was to mention every single viable troop that is possible on one of those, it would just take too long. Because there's several dozen. If I just mention like the most viable 10, because I believe Apothecary is one of them, that would be a lot easier. But also make it so they can actually focus on a specific set rather than trying to do all of them. Because if I mention too many, a newer player might not be able to really use it for much of a benefit. Because if I say, yeah, almost every single kingdom is viable to go and upgrade to some degree, then they won't really have a focus to do. If I do a smaller little section, it would be a bit easier. Also, wow, that was a really low chest. It's almost the lowest possible chest we could have gotten. 5 is the lowest we can get with what our current upgrades are. And we just got a 6. But, yeah, there's several really good ones. I'm pretty sure Apothecary is one of them. If you get KZL to, I believe, level 7, you get a free Apothecary. Wow, only level 4. Never mind. Wow, that's even cheaper than I thought it was. I forgot how much gold that is. Yeah, level 4 is, that is very, very low. That's like 20,000 gold area low. Probably even less than that. I forget what their values are. I believe it's 500,000, 2,000, 4,000? Yeah, it's like 8,000 or less, so, for an Apothecary. Or a consistent 100% chance for Apothecary. That is insanely good in early game. It's actually probably one of the most noteworthy ones, actually. Apothecary is insanely good because of Mountain Crusher. Once you can get Mountain Crusher off your hero, it's around level 100 or so, or a little further. It is insanely powerful with Apothecary. And it's even easier than ever to obtain it these days. Anyways, but yeah, any other questions that I might have missed or anything? Let me know. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we are every night. Hour and a half prior to now tomorrow. Hello, Why Gamora. You're trying to hunt down an older stream of yours when hero classes became free to change. Any help with wording? I'm not sure if you could find what do you need to find the stream for? I'm like, that's gonna be really hard to specifically find a stream like that. The easiest way to do it would be to figure out what patch that was, which you can find out on gemsofwardatabase.com. There's a place on there that tracks all the patch things. And then just go back on my channel around that time. I could try finding it, but it would take me a little while to try to dig it back up. But the easiest way would be go to gemsofwardatabase.com, GOWDB.com, just the initials of that. Go to the archive of all the updates. Figure out where the change was for the hero class change, which I actually forget what patch that was off the top of my head, but I believe it has wording as some of the main changes that happened on there. And then just find a stream from then, whatever you're looking for. Why are you trying to find that, though? Not sure specifically what you're trying to find, but that's what you would, how you would get there. Did you understand it better after explain? Someone asked for Primal Rift Pure Faction. Oh, what's Primal Rift Pure Faction? Primal Rift Pure Faction is, actually, let me double check the troops. I actually forget what it is off the top of my head. I know you double up on something, because the 4 of them are pretty bad. Where is Primal Rift? Let me go double check. I actually forget what it is off the top of my head. Primal Rift is definitely, obviously, the legend. Probably double the legend. It seems like it's, I don't think he's the Thorn. Yeah, you use, Green Golem, Dark Dryad, Alderfather, and that's pretty much it. You just run that. And you could also run the Alderfather in front of the Dark Dryad, possibly. Yeah, Green Golem, Alderfather, Dryad, Green Golem, Alderfather, Green Golem, Dryad, Alderfather, any kind of combination like that. You generally want to have the double Green Golem. One is your tank and one is your backup tank. Alderfather ends up replacing your backup tank first slot in case it dies. And Dark Dryad is mainly just for the extra bonuses and also for its stats deal to your first slot. It's not really too relevant. You could theoretically replace that out with a second Alderfather. But Red Thorn is just going to be useless. It does have Skull Reflect, but the enemy has more stats than you, so that's not going to matter. and its ability is useless, at least in the context of high-level delves. So, yeah, this multi-green golem, which are obviously your tanks. Alder Father is like 100% your damage nearly, and Dark Dryad is just your it's basically just there to cover more color essentially and to give you a bigger team bonus. But Alder Golem is like 90% of your team. Really, Alder Father is like 95% of your team in Primal Rift Pure faction. You're just trying to constantly find this alignment, and nearly all your damage comes from his alignment, with some of it coming from Dark Dryad's armor tier. But yeah, Primal Rift is definitely not one of the easier pure factions. It's pretty annoying. I haven't tried it yet, but it is one of the more annoying ones. I probably have to say the most annoying, I believe, at this current moment in time is probably Sea of Sorrows, just because of how high its true damage is, and that true damage can easily end up killing you out without enough stats. But once you had enough stats, I guess it wouldn't matter as much. They made quite a few things easier for early game players, but as they keep adding more and more content to the game, it is naturally becoming harder to like 100% the game for newer players. It's still possible. There's still people that have started within the last year that are actually getting decently close to what could be considered 100%. There's like so many different things that could be considered 100% in this game, like owning all the troops, or having everything maxed, or having literally 2,500 factions, all factions with all level 100 hero classes with absolutely everything in the game. There's like several different things that could be considered 100%. But like the lower end of what's considered 100% in this game, you can actually get within about a year or so in the current state of the game, even though they keep adding more and more content over time. And the main reason for that is because they have how they have set up keys in a few other formats of the game. It's relatively easy to go and end up getting everything simultaneously just through a lot of keys. Whereas you're kind of bottlenecked later in the game, where you kind of just throw a bunch of keys just to get one single troop later on. Whereas you get a bunch of drops simultaneously while you're progressing as a newer player. So the progression gets like caught up pretty quickly as you get that. The only thing that you can fall very, very far behind on the current state of the game is probably factions, I would say. Mainly because factions are something that you gradually work towards, and you can't get more unless you spend gems, like as far as your daily amount. So it tends to take a little bit longer to get the factions up. Like out of everything in the game, that's like probably the biggest border of entry, is trying to get high level factions. Luckily, it's not really something you worry about until late game or end game, because the bonuses that you get and everything aren't really that relevant until a lot later. While factions are hard to get to the point of max, they are pretty pointless to get max in the current state of the game. You only really need to get them max to get like the mid 10s in stars in order to have 2 level 20 pets, which is only relevant for a few kingdoms, and most newer players or even mid-range players won't be anywhere near that. And also for extra little bit of stats, but these stats are relatively low and they don't really do too much. Currently, it's possible to have 2 attack, 3 HP, and 3 armor based on having really high factions. And I don't have the other attacks because I haven't grinded that far yet. You need like almost every pure faction done to have that right now, but we'll have it next faction. But you don't really gain too much of a benefit from it. You also gain some gold per day, but that's pretty irrelevant. That's less than 1,000 gold per day. That is basically 0. And the random ingots don't really help too much either. Though I guess it's a little bit more than nothing. But that's basically like 22 free PvP battles per day worth of ingots. Because I believe it has the same drop rate of what PvP drops whenever you get an ingot in PvP. That's basically what that does. But that's not really too relevant either, because you eventually have more ingots than you ever need, at least in the current state of the game. But any other questions I may have missed? Let's see. You mentioned in one of your other streams how long it takes to hit PvP leaderboard. Probably about an hour. Oh, you mean leaderboard? Never mind. It takes longer than an hour to reach leaderboard. It has something like per 10,000 score, it takes around hours. Well, it would take around what is the average? Well, it's around 1,000 score per hour. Though it can vary. You can get as high as like over 2,000, but it really just depends on a lot of factors. But yeah, leaderboard is generally around, if I had to guess right now, it's probably around 35,000. And yeah, it keeps creeping a little bit higher. It's currently at, oh, it's almost right when it's at 35,000. It's at 36,000. I should have guessed 36,000. That's what it was at last week. Yeah, it seems like at least PC Mobile is averaging around 36,000 lately. 36, 37,000 by the end of the week. Particularly 36. But yeah, 36,000 can be reached in about 36 hours or less. Depending on how you grind, that could theoretically be reached in about 20 hours, depending on how quickly you can get it. But 1,000 per hours, you could pretty consistently do. And if you were to do that, that would take, if you were doing 1,000 per hour, it would take 36 hours of PvP over the course of a week, which isn't too bad. If you break that out over the course of 7 days, that's what, like 5 hours a day, a little bit more. Though you can get more than 1,000 per hour. That's just like about what you'd be getting. I'm not sure what the exact rate of points per hour is. I know it's actually higher than normal, so it's probably even higher than 1,000. So but yeah, you could end up making a leaderboard if you wanted it for whatever reason in probably 35 hours or less on PC mobile version. You could probably even do it in under 30 hours in the current state of the game. But you just have to win PvP really, really quick. And if you split that across 7 days, that's less than 5 hours a day, which are probably even closer to 4 hours a day. But there's not really much of a benefit to it in the current state of the game, though. The only really big loot that you get is if you get really high, you get a bunch of arcanes, so the arcane this time around is pretty useless. And oddly enough, making top 100 to make exactly place 51 to 100 is really good because you get 5 epic ingots. And out of every single one of these ingot rewards, the one that is actually the most valuable is the 5 epic ingots. And the main reason for this is epic ingots are better than any other ingot in the game right now due to how rare they are. It's kind of weird that the epic ingot is the rarest ingot in the game. But due to Dells giving a extreme surplus of legendary and mythic ingots, epics are the hardest ingot currently to obtain by a pretty large margin. So generally making 51 to 100th place on PvP leaderboard is actually the best location to make. And even if you accidentally fall down some, it's not that big a deal because you're still getting a good majority of the loot. But yeah, this is actually the best place to land on the leaderboard in the current state of the game. Is either first place, which is really near impossible, or just because how much grind you need to do. It takes a really long time. But realistically, 51 to 100th place is the best location to try to land if you're trying for PvP leaderboard. And just stick there for once you reach it after grinding PvP for several dozen hours, or a couple dozen hours. Let's see, any other questions I may have missed? I don't believe so. Also, I still have no clue what you're trying to go on about Supplement. I'm not sure what you're trying to explain with the other thing you mentioned. They did 600 battles in 2 minutes? That should be impossible. That should be literally impossible. I don't understand anything Supplement says. That's not true. I sometimes do. Though there are some things he says where I'm not exactly sure where he's going with it. Will it penalize you for using the same weapon for 2 different days on Guild Wars Defends? Yes. If you use the same weapon for multiple Guild Wars Defends, you will lose points. If you use the same hero class, you will not be penalized. But if you use the same weapon, you will be. Do be mindful of that. So if you use Mountain Crusher on 2 different defends or something like that, you will lose points for doing so. They have to be unique weapons. They work the same way as troops in that they have to be unique. Only hero classes don't have to be unique, but the weapon itself does have to be unique. But yes, if you use multiple of the same weapon, it will penalize you. Why, if you notice on our Guild Wars Defends, while I do use some hero weapons, none of them end up repeating, even though we do repeat hero classes. But do I even repeat hero classes? Yeah, I repeat Frost Mage twice, but there's no penalty to that, as you can see by the fact we're getting the full 12,000 points. But you'll notice that every single one of these weapons are different when I'm using a weapon. Life and Death, Rope Dart, Flame of Fur, Doomed Blade, Elemental Bow, and Essence of Evil. All 6 of them are different. And even though you're allowed to use the same hero class, you're not allowed to use the same weapon. And if we were to, let's say, like use 2 Essence of Evils, it would penalize us if we use one on one and one on another. And you'd be able to tell by that not being 12,000 points. But yeah, as you can see, it's still 12,000 points, yet we're using 2 Frost Mages. But you do have to use unique weapons. Do be mindful of that when you do your Guild Wars Defense. Otherwise, you lose like 500 points each time you do that, which would add up to be a lot of points. You lose 1,000 points initially, and then 500 points for every single additional time if you were to repeat that, which you definitely don't want to waste that many points, since that's a pretty substantial amount. Oh, 600 battles times 2 minutes is 1,200 minutes is equals 20 hours for leaderboard. Yeah, that makes sense. Though it depends if you can always do the 3 trophy, because sometimes you can't do the 3 trophy and you have to factor in losing battles, because losing battles will lower your rating. And will waste time, obviously. So you could have 2 minutes where you not only lose a battle, but you also lose like 20 rating. So that would slow you down by like 3 minutes. So do be mindful of that as well when you factor out the amount of time that it takes to do leaderboard. Because your math that you just did assumes 3 trophy battle, and it assumes you never lose. Which generally does happen if you're doing 3 trophy the entire time. It is possible to get a really high win rate, though getting absolute 100% is very, very rare. But anyways, guys, I'll be heading out for now. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back tomorrow to go cover the event video. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and yeah, next stream tomorrow night, same time as always, 1.5 hours prior to now tomorrow. And we'll be going over all of the new Monday event stuff, doing a bunch of invasions, and yeah, doing the event video. I'll catch you all later, and have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everyone.